until she saw her boyfriend, who had been paralyzed for 20 years, being proposed to by a rich heiress, and then unbelievably stood up from his wheelchair and even showed affection with the rich girl right in front of his fiancée. Only then did the materialistic fiancé realize that the man's true identity was far from simple. It turned out that 5 years ago, in order to save his fiancée, the man was hit by a car and suffered a spinal injury that left him paralyzed. His mother, being the richest person in the world, used the best overseas medical resources to save her son's life and had him pretend to be disabled in order to test the character of his fiancée's family. Little did he know, the fiancée had already betrayed him. Not only was she with his childhood friend, they were even plotting to replace him at the wedding. But what they didn't know was their conversation had been overheard by the man. Yet he didn't expose them right away. He just left quietly and planned to reveal everything publicly at the wedding. And on his way home, he happened to save a beautiful woman. When the woman learned of his situation, she decided to offer herself in gratitude and to take revenge on his fiancée. The man agreed without hesitation. But he didn't know that the woman he had saved was actually a rich heiress. Soon, the wedding between the man and his fiancée took place as scheduled. The fiancée showed her true colors. She openly stated in front of everyone that she despised the man for being disabled and announced she was calling off the wedding. She even told everyone that the groom today wasn't the man at all. Then the man's childhood friend walked in, having bribed the fiancée's mother, and urged the crowd to throw the man out. He said he'd give everyone $10,000 if they did. The money-hungry crowd ignored the man's feelings and was about to throw him out. Luckily, the rich heiress arrived just in time. Not only did she propose to the man publicly, but she also exposed the fiancé's cheating scandal. But even so, the fiancée refused to admit her fault and claimed the heiress's identity was fake. She immediately tried to make trouble for both of them. Unexpectedly, this scene enraged the man. He stood up from his wheelchair and walked a circle in front of his childhood friend. The friend, seeing things going against him, accused the man of faking his disability to win the fiancé's sympathy so she'd willingly marry him. Hearing this, the fiancée chimed in and demanded the man pay her $1 million for emotional damage, or she would expose his so-called crimes and let everyone see his true, ugly face. Since the fiancé went this far, the man decided not to hold back anymore. He took out a file folder and threw it to the fiancé. He said directly that after the accident, all his hospital expenses had totaled $50 million, and he wanted her to pay it back. But to his surprise, no one believed him, because his mother was just a lowly cleaning lady. There was no way his family could have that much money. So the fiancé's family believed he was extorting them and called the police to have him arrested. The childhood friend even ordered everyone to restrain the man in case he tried to run away. Fortunately, the heiress stopped them just in time. But this infuriated the fiancé, who said the heiress was a fake and dared to cause trouble here. Just as she finished speaking, someone in the crowd stood up to expose the heiress. He claimed his father was a manager at the heiress's company, so he called his father to ask if the heiress was getting married today. But the answer he got was no. The father said the heiress didn't even have a boyfriend, so how could she be getting married? After hearing this, everyone believed she was a fake heiress. But the heiress wasn't afraid at all. After asking for the father's name, she called the company's HR department and ordered them to fire the man's father within 5 seconds. But no one believed her. They just thought she was putting on a show. They insulted and mocked her. But the next second, that man got a call from his father. To his shock, his father had really been fired. Only then did he realize that he had offended a true heiress. So he knelt down and apologized to her, hoping she would forgive his father. But the heiress said because he had offended the man, she refused to forgive him. So he knelt and begged the man instead, but was also rejected. He turned to the childhood friend for help, but the friend didn't care at all, saying the man was just a fraud and his scam would be exposed once the police arrived. Just then, the police arrived on the scene. After hearing the story from the fiancé, they asked them to provide evidence. When they learned the receipts were from the Royal Hospital, the police became very suspicious of the man's identity. Only the extremely wealthy or powerful could afford treatment at that hospital, and the man clearly didn't look like someone who could afford it. Seeing how they doubted him, the man revealed that his mother was the richest person in the world, but all he got in return was ruthless mockery. The police didn't want to waste time either, and started looking into the man's so-called fraud. To their surprise, All the receipts were real. Even though the police confirmed it, the friend and fiancé still didn't believe it. They refused to accept that the man was the son of a billionaire. They still thought he was a liar. They even accused him of forging his medical records, claiming the record said he had 33 fractures all over his body, and it was impossible to recover so quickly from something that serious. So they insisted it was all fake. The man was just running a scam. Even the heiress beside him asked doubtfully what was really going on. The man couldn't explain right away, so he decided to call the hospital director for clarification. This statement brought even more suspicion from the crowd. The director of the Royal Hospital was such an important figure. How could a poor guy like him have connections to someone like that? But the man didn't care what they thought. He called the director and asked him to come explain in person. The friend, seeing how bold the man and the heiress were, made a call to use his own influence to suppress the heiress's family. But the heiress didn't believe that a mere upstart like him could shake her trillion-dollar family. But just as she said this, her father arrived at the scene and even slapped her in front of everyone.